Hey, welcome to another testimony, Pebble in the Pond video. This one today is on feeding the poor. So, we're in Missouri. It's 1995 or 6, I think, somewhere in there. Let's see, yeah, it's 40 and 43. So, uh, there was a man named Victor Agnew owned a lumber yard there at the corner of Truman and Sterling. And we became friends, and he was a big, not the grand poobah in the Masons, but up their ways, and been there a long time. And so we had lots of religious discussions of why he shouldn't be in that secretive order. But and he knew I was a Christian, and we talked about Christianity all the time, and the principles of Christianity and so on. And he was very poor. He was very wealthy then, and he had amassed a lot of money, but he was literally, they didn't have food when he was little, and it was not good. And so he was very, very, very frugal. And so, anyways, there was a young couple that had, so we had this relationship, and he thinks I'm a Christian, right? Because I've told him I'm a Christian. And there was a young couple showed up down by him, and they had a van. The van broke down in his parking lot at Columbia. So I only lived like 3 blocks away. So he drives them up in his car, his Lincoln town car, and pulls up to my house. Knocks on the door. He says, "Miles, uh, you're a Christian, and so I'm bringing these people to you." And they're both smoking on, sucking on a cigarette, And he says, "Well, the van broke down, and they don't have any place to go. And these guys are young. I don't even know if they're married or anything. I'm thinking all these things in my head. They're smoking. They might be thieves. They might be this and else." It was all wrong. I'm a big Marine. The house we have is adequate. There's rooms downstairs, tons of food. We have everything we need. So I stepped out at the house and talked to him. I said, "Well, there's a city union mission over here, and there's shelter over here, and there's church shelter over there." And I says, "Yeah, let's take him to one of those." And he says, "Oh, well, okay." And and then the problem was he took him back down to their van. I guess they stayed there. Here's the problem: when you claim to be a Christian, and then God puts you on the spot with a perfect scenario for failure if you're not truly abiding in the Word of God and living it. They could have been clean cut young people, no smoking, and very appealing to bring into the house. But that wasn't the way it was. And so, first of all, I'm not to fear any man or anything but God. Second of all, the house, the money, the food, everything we have is given to us of God. So I felt very ashamed. And he went and put them up in a motel, Victor. Of course, we talked about this for some time afterwards, and I had to confess to him that what I did was wrong. I should have brought them in. And so they're gone. So now, here comes Act Two. It wasn't long, and we had been tried to feed the poor down the city union mission, and that was good. It was enjoyable. Went out and talked to the people. Church groups would go in any given night of the week that was scheduled, and you would prepare the meal for the residents there, and it's a homeless shelter. And so this was wonderful. We liked that, so let's do some more. Well, up on the square in Independence, there was a church that has a dining facility that they feed one meal a day to the homeless. And so we did that a time or two, and so we're in here, whatever, third, fourth time, and there's a lady that directs it there, and here's how this went. It was so not good for me. I mean, it was really good. So here's the setting. I'm in the room. What we're doing is we have a lot of canned goods, so we're kind of sorting in them and bagging them, and there's a couple of Don Case kids in there, Tim Eddy, older man that's married with children, and myself. So there's 4 of us, 2 girls, two Don Cases girls, and Tim Eddie and myself. And we're stacking these bags, and Susan's prepping with a meal or something downstairs. And so the lady comes in, the director, with a question. Hi, I've got a couple downstairs that they don't have any place to stay, and you guys have any ideas? Mind you, I've already went through the Victor and the smokers and the young couple, and so I'm thinking, and Tim and I both said, well, yeah, there's this city homeless shelter and that homeless shelter, and she said, oh, okay, thank you. Closed the door and went on. And the girls were witnessing this. This two grown men calling themselves Christian, making excuses. Both of us had money, jobs, places, homes, extra room. Could even put them up in a motel for a few days. It's just bad. So now we go down. It's time to eat. So we go down there, and here comes this couple. And where do they sit? Right across from Susan and I. And of course, there's no smoking in there, and they're eating, so I don't even know if they smoke. But they appeared to have a cold, snivelly and whatnot. And we sat there and talked to them, but away we went. We went on home, got done feeding the people, and cleaned up and whatnot, and went home. So now we have testimony 2 of feeding the poor in hypocrisy. We wanted to go feed them in the dinner line. We wanted to sit down and converse, but we didn't want to have anything to do with it. To bring these souls into our homes for an array of reasons that your mind can go through, none of them justifiable. God is God, the creator of the universe, the sun, the moon, the stars. And I just appreciate God for those 2 testimonies. And if you can take those to heart and not fail as I did. Also, I'm a firm believer in making things right. So I went back to Tim Eddy. I went back to those 2 girls and confessed to them what should have been done and what wasn't done. And no excuses. This is what we should have done. And they were all receptive. Oh, well, we all understand. I said, yeah, but that ain't it. We don't all understand. These are people with souls and needs and bodies. They're not cattle. Have a blessed day in the Lord. Till we meet again on the next testimony.